The Callisto Protocol launched back on the 2nd of December 2022. Now I covered it a week or so later and walked away from the experience feeling a bit hollow. Since then, the game has had several patches, with the most recent one being version 3.01, which went live on the 19th of January. This added, among many changes, a New Game Plus mode. So with New Game Plus finally out, I thought it would be best to revisit the game and see if after all these changes, my opinion has changed alongside them. Can it rise like a phoenix from the ashes, or is it doomed to mediocrity? Well, let's dive in. So as we begin, the important things to note are what's actually changed. To start a game in New Game Plus, you need a completed save on your profile. So, if you restarted prior to the patch, you'll need to get through your current run and beat the end boss before you'll be able to take advantage of this mode. For those that want to earn all the achievements, the good news here is that as well as your weapons and upgrades coming across, it also keeps track of your collectibles. So, if you miss something in the early part of the game, you won't need to replay all of it to earn that shiny trophy, and that's always welcome. Now, you don't get access to your arsenal until you earn your pistol in Chapter 2, so you can't go on a mass killing spree with your fully leveled up shotgun till then, but it's early enough into the experience that it's not really an issue. So alongside New Game Plus, what else have they done here to improve the experience? Well, alongside the usual bug and performance issue fixes, the gameplay itself has seen some pretty major changes. For starters, the combat pacing has been improved across the board. Weapon switching, reloading and quick swap have all seen noticeable changes, and this means you can now swap to your other guns mid-fight without an issue. Now this was a major issue for me in the base game, as the moment you go to dodge, you restart the animation of switching from scratch, and now that isn't the case. It also means scrolling through your weapons to do a mass reload isn't the time sink it used to be. In terms of saving time, another big change comes in with heals. When I last played it, you had to be cautious whenever you went to heal, as the time taken to do this was huge. It was essentially impossible to pull one off in the middle of combat. You have to wait for Jacob to take a knee, pull it out of his pocket, line it up, and self-inject. Now, he chucks it in without a moment's hesitation, and this change meant in the final encounter, I was able to get 2 of them off without any fear of being punished. Now, I'm sure this is a welcome change for many people, as I remember seeing the Reddit and Facebook groups constantly whining on how hard the game was, especially when it came to heals. But I don't feel that way at all. I liked the heightened stakes, the knowledge that if I even need to heal, it's because I've messed up, and the tension you feel when you're fighting with everything you have to get by with no other outcome than perfect play. And that's kind of been obliterated here with this change, as now, create a bit of space and you can pop one off without worry. Now, I'm someone that likes a challenge, and I found my first run at Callisto met that challenge and then some. Taking on groups in particular forced you to adapt your style, to use the grip to thin the herd while peppering enemies from distance before switching to melee to deal with the stragglers. In running it on New Game Plus, I noticed one major difference from my initial playthrough, and it's one that again I'm not sure needed to be changed, and that's how groups engage with you. Prior to these patches, if you ran in with your baton out, you would get bodied by everyone. They would swarm and gank you into oblivion. Now, you approach an enemy and the others will generally give you space to finish that fight, and if they don't and they go for a cheap shot from behind, the damage they deal is hardly noticeable. It's enough to give you a scare, but nothing more than that. Now, there's a section quite late into the experience where you drop down and get jumped by several enemies. On my original run, I had to play this near perfect to escape with my life. On New Game Plus, I dropped in and completely botched it, getting smacked by everyone from behind, and I still left the encounter without too much issue. In my opinion, that shouldn't happen. Your mistakes should mean something. By lowering the difficulty and easing the potential frustration, they've inadvertently made the combat feel brain dead. Now this carries over to the dodging as well, which has seen two changes. First up, the dodge angle. It now allows the player to have the stick slightly forward and right or left while still dodging. It's a change of 15 degrees from a 45-degree angle to a 30-degree angle. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but in practice, it is. It means you don't have to be as deliberate as you did prior to the change. Now, you can keep moving forward with the stick held at a slight angle, and you've got to dodge pretty much anything. Throughout my run, outside of when I got a bit too greedy and ate a slap, the majority of my damage was dealt through opening crates or turning a corner and getting grabbed by those annoying jump scare worm things. Now I get it, Callisto is in a tight spot right now. It was targeted to sell 5 million copies, and this has become almost unobtainable. The vocal minority kick up a fuss and complain about the difficulty, and so the devs think the changes will open it up to the masses. But personally, this isn't the issue the game has. The main issues come in with its middling story, its lack of interesting lore, the annoying quick-time event enemies that grab you without any warning, and the constant slowdown to crawl through a vent or shimmy through scenery, and none of these have seen any changes whatsoever. So for as grateful as I am that general combat has been made quicker when it comes to weapon swaps, changing the enemy's difficulty to make groups and dodging easier has only diluted the experience, turning it into something that lacks any real challenge or thought. In their quest to make it accessible to everyone, it's lost the one thing it did well, and that's its challenge. Now for those who did find the game too demanding prior to the patches, I guess this gives you a reason to return. But for the people that completed the game and are thinking of coming back, outside of trophy hunting with New Game Plus, the changes generally are a detriment to the game, turning the enemies from a threat into nothing more than fodder. And even with hardcore mode coming out later in February, I can't see there being a challenge or draw to return for anyone. I'm just hopeful that story DLC fixes the problems I actually have with the game, providing me with a reason to care for Jacob's story and the wider world, while designing the environment to be fun to explore without the need to mash triangle every time I open a goddamn crate or emerge from a ladder. But we'll have to wait a little while till then. Now I'm really curious to hear from you guys on this one. Have you gone back to Callisto since the patches have gone live? Am I alone in feeling like the challenge is lacking? Let me know. This entire video is highly subjective, and I'm sure there's a few people that are happy with the changes. I try to respond to everyone, so let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'll look forward to discussing it with you. And that's it for this video. Up next on the channel is a review on Dead Space 2, before I cover Dead Space Remake, so don't forget to subscribe for more survival horror reviews. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. See ya.